Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MCT West Africa Cloud Bootcamp 2021. It's a very exciting day because it's Black Friday here in UK, but we are organizing this, and normally Black Friday we give out free gifts. So this is essentially a free present to everyone. Uh, no price, no catch. So I'm actually happy to see all of you joining this session. I hope you guys are ready to learn a lot because we have a lot in store for you guys. Right, just want to tell you a bit about myself. So my name is Kofi Ade. I'll be your moderator for this M365 track. So I currently work as a technical account manager with a cybersecurity company, Sophos. So I have a lot of experience with networking, cloud services, endpoint, and other firewalls as well. So I'm happy to obviously be the moderator for this program for today. Right, before we go on, we just want you to see the special sponsors that we have. Microsoft, D Brown, Hasam, Convert Technology, Caris Cloud, and many more. So these are the guys that made this program possible. And let's go through what we have in store for you guys for today. So for today, we have three speakers that will be delivering all the programs for us for today. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear them talk. So this is the program agenda. So from 5 o'clock to 5:30, we're going to have Adewale, who is going to walk us through team governance. And we'll have 10 minutes break after Adewale's session. We have 10 minutes break. So 10 minutes to have a bit of refresh, get a drink or whatever. And then once you come back, Chimi will also take over with an overview of Power Platform Admin Center. Then again, you get 10 minutes break, and then Huzi Ahmed will also join in with the UI design to Power BI. And then after his session, we have Gloria, and Gloria also delivered to us get data into Power BI. I hope you guys are excited as I am. So without any further ado, I'll bring you our speaker for today. But before that, I just want you to be aware of this competition that is going on. So all you need to do is just complete the session evaluation, and then you have a chance of winning an amazing present. And including that is an Xbox. So if you have not done it already, make sure you get the link up there. We'll put that in the chat as well, or you can copy it from the screen, take a screenshot or whatever, because there's a lot of prizes that is going to be given away. So you should definitely take part in this. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring to you our first speaker for the day. Right. So this will be our first speaker for the day, Adewale. Adewale is a cloud engineer in Hasam, and he have tremendous knowledge with Office 365, Windows, and Azure. So without any further ado, I'm just going to bring him on the screen as well. Adewale.
Good evening.
Wonderful to meet you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very okay. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a very great day. I know this session have been well prepared, and what we're going to do is going to deliver a wonderful session. So I can't wait to hear your program.
All right. Thank you very much, Kofi.
All right, so I'll leave you to take over the show from here.
All right. So just give me a moment. Let me show my screen.
All right.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. So I hope the audience can see the screen as well. So if you see the screen, can you please leave a message in the chat? If you don't see it as well, leave a message in the chat, please.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Kofi. Good evening, everyone. I am Adewale Ayodele, Cloud Productive Engineer. Like Kofi said, I work with Hashem Limited, and today I'll be walking you through the Teams governance. So, like we all know, Teams is like a service in Office 365. That's a Microsoft solution, cloud solution, where it's it's um, the cloud solution where you collaborate. We have one-on-one chats, we have a group chat, and we don't just collaborate with people within our organization. We collaborate with people outside of our organization. So in doing that, we have to put some practice. We have to put some plan in place so as to make people to guide people on the kind of access they would have to our resource. That's talking about cloud groups, sites, and all. So today I'll be showing you a few practice and plans you can put in place in your organization so as to make unauthorized access into your resource from either internal users or external users. So today, our agenda would be talking about what Teams governance is. We'll also be talking about the various concerns that are in Teams. So talking about groups creation, who can create groups, who are the people that can create groups. Is there a particular name convention we need to put in place so as to make our groups look uniform and all? So basically, some of the concerns here is about duplication of teams and in so in so some of the concerns here is around duplication of teams. So in the duplication of teams is where we have maybe some users, maybe we have users in sales, they have the opportunity or they have the access to create teams and they are on a project, let's say a sales project, we're talking about AD upgrade, and they have created a team, maybe the project lead has created a team where he wants to keep an update on on the update for his other colleagues so as to get the update on that particular project. So for him, he has done that, and unknowing him to the manager or to the lead, he also has created a group or a team concerning this project. That's the AD upgrade. So at that moment, we have two upgrades. Now the CTO of that company or the sales manager wants to check or have an update or an insight on what is happening on that particular project. It sees about two or three teams or two groups created for that particular project. This will cause confusion. The manager will be confused on which update or where to go to so as to get an update, and this can cause a reduction in productivity. So these are some of the few concerns we would be addressing, and we'll see how this team's governance will address such issues. And you see their recommendations talking about how you can set labels on your teams, how you can put an access review on a particular group. So if this particular team, so like I said, we have a team for AD upgrade. So these people are done with the project and this team is just been there, the line idle. There's a way we can set a retention policy where it's retained, or you can set a retention policy where it retains this data, does a review of that particular group or particular team where um, the owner of that group we have to give justifications why we have to keep this particular group or we have to delete this particular group. So in doing that, you would see that we have moderated or put some practice of some laid down rules where we don't just have anything moving around our digital estate. That's talking about Teams and Office 365 as a whole. So quickly, let me go down to my first slide. That's what's my basically what's Teams governance. So you see, Teams governance are plans we put in place so as to keep our organization data safe from unauthorized users. So like I said, we have a particular resource in our organization. So we want to know, okay, who are the people trying to access this particular resource? Okay, so if you want to access this particular resource, we will need you now to just to provide justification, and we will need some people to review why you need this particular resource to help your work or to increase your productivity. So these are some of the rules. Before now, you would see most organizations, you can just go to a particular resource, you can go to teams, create teams, add people and all. But now we have tailored it that, okay, if you want maybe the heads of various departments, we will only be able to create teams or to be able to review people, we can do that using Microsoft Governance. So that's all Microsoft Governance is all about, setting various protections in Microsoft Teams. And we'll see how we do that in our demo and all. So like I said, the common issues are duplicated teams, right access to maybe a resource, how you want your teams to be structured. Do you want a prefix before the name of the group and you just a suffix, or you want both ways, you want a prefix and the name of the group and also a suffix. You see how you can achieve that in this demo, and you will see there are various classifications you can put talking about the expiration of a group. So expiration is within a particular timeline, maybe 365 days or 180. You can set it that, okay, once it's this day, we want reviewers to review this group, why this group should not be deleted, or so once that day has reached, or maybe it's 180 days already, you would see that a review message will be sent, that's a mail will be sent to the owner of the group, or depending on the configuration, though, either the owner of the group, or we have a set of people where we'll be given that right to review this particular group and give the there will be justification on why this group should not be deleted. So you would see how that can also be done. So these are some recommendations, like I said, where you can manage third-party applications, you can establish policies to archive your teams, you can do a teams configuration, you can automate some of these processes. You will see how you can automate some of these teams governance. It's not something you just have to go to the portal and do every time. It's something you see how you can automate it, and you just be getting mails. And once you do a mail, you see where you just need to approve, or you have to decline, or you have to deny some of these requests being sent from your user. So let's quickly go to the demo without wasting much of our time. So just give me a minute. Okay. So you would see this is my lab session, our demo. So in our demo, we are first going to look at how we can tailor who can create teams. So at the moment, we have all our users being able to create teams. You see, we have Ash being able to create teams. Um, you can see this particular user Gray also has the access to create a team. But we want to stop it there. We just have a set of users, maybe a set of maybe head of department, sales, account, admin, IT, and all. We just want them to be the only one to decide who to be able to create teams. So we will take that decision, and in doing that, we will have to create a security group. So now we go to the Teams portal. Once you sign on to your tenant, you go to the groups as the admin center. You go to groups, and in creating groups, you have to create a security group. So we add a group and we give it a name. So once we give it a name, let's give it a name, Teams. We give it a description and we click next and we create a group. So in creating a group, you would see that, let's give it time. It's taking time to come up, but for my own demo today, I had created a group. So you see the group, it's called Teams Creation. So in creating Teams Creation, I have the various users that I want to have access to create teams. So you would see I have the admin Namorata, we have Ash, we have Caleb, we have Tommy, and all. So we have Ella also to be able to create teams. So all these 5 users would have the access to create teams. So in doing that, we would have to run a PowerShell command where you would see from this link, as a place you would see Microsoft have provided a PowerShell script for us. So you would see I will copy this PowerShell script, and you would see where it said you save it as .psi. So let's create open notepad. So let's not forget that we have a user that's Gray. Gray has access to create teams. As here, you see. So, but you see that from this place, you would see that Gray is not among the users that has access to create teams. You see under groups, you would see that this user does not have the access to create teams. So let's quickly save this script. So you see in the script, there's what we call group name. So this group name is where you put the name of that particular security group you've created for the users that can create team. So you don't necessarily have to use the name I'm using. Just give it an AB Teams creation or Teams 365 creation and all. For us, we're using Teams creation. So once you do that, we would click file and you will save as .psi. So we're giving it of ours, we're giving it a name. So let's say Teams creation .ps1. Let's save it and let's click OK. So once that has been done, you can confirm from here if that has been saved. You see, this is it. We have it. You see it. You see the extension pointing to .psi. You go to details. You see .psi, and also now we have to launch PowerShell. And first off, we have to connect to Azure AD. And connecting to Azure AD, you provide a credential. This credential can be a global admin or a security admin credential. So we'll provide one. Let's use click next. We so we have already signed on to our Azure AD. So now we have to run the commandlet. So in running the commandlet, that's the PowerShell script we created. We change our directory to be pointing to this. So just hold on a second. So I have to change directory. So in change directory, so we run our commandlet. That's the teams creation.psi we saved now. So we hit enter. It requests for you to sign on again. So we'll sign on. You would see that this has been disabled to false. So you would see enable group creation has been disabled to false. You would see in the commandlet, like when we created it, you would see it's there. Allow group creation set to false. So if in future we want to enable it back where we want everyone to be able to create a group, we will change this false to true. So let's go to our user, that's Gray. We'll sign out from Gray so as to be sure it's taking effect. Sign out, sign out. Let's follow this account. So basically, let's just close this. So load portal office. We have Gray at namarata.com. NG. So we can go to, sorry, we go to Teams. So you would see it hasn't taken effect. That's still creating. It's still taking time. Okay. So you'd see now that gray now, once you click join or create a team, you will see it doesn't have this option. But if you see for this user, that's Ash, if you see, if you recall, Ash had the access, it was part of the group. You see once you click join or create a team, you will see this user has an access to create a team and all. So from there, you see you cannot create a team and you see it has been tailored to those 5 members. So in your environment, you can leave it, like I said, to the head of department or the various leads to be able to create teams and all. So if users need or there's a request for them or there's a need for them to create a team for them, they would either send a mail or they go through an app, depending on what you have in your environment, to make a request for team creation and all. So next is talking, we will go down to the expiration of groups and teams. So you see for this, you go down to the Azure portal. So that's portal.azure.com. Once you click on that, you'd go to the Azure Active Directory. Yeah. And you have go to groups. So in groups, you would see we have general. And in general, you would see we have various things here and we have the expiration. So for the expiration, there's a timeline, like I said, 180, 165, but you can also customize yours to maybe 90 days. We can put it like, and we want, okay, if this group has reached its lifetime, we want it to send a mail down to this particular email address. That's if that particular group does not have an owner. So we have some groups that they don't have an owner. So we can use the person, a mail will be sent to this particular email address and all. So you can send it for either some selected groups or to all groups. And for naming policy, like I said, we have a naming convention where you can say if you want a prefix or a suffix in your environment. So for this environment, you would see I had created a prefix that's Inamurata. So you see in the middle is the name of the group, and we have a suffix GRP. So if a sales group is created, you see it, we have Inamurata, the sales group, and GRP. So let's quickly look at that. So let's click, okay, this can create group from scratch, and let's say private group. So we give it a name, say marketing, marketing. So we create. So in creating, you would see, so once you would see it's taking time. It's taking time. So if you see for other, let me show you for other groups, you would see where we have it already for them, where we have the prefix and suffix already reflecting for them. So while what that is loading, let's quickly go to that's the retention, that's the label and all. So if you go to the label, let's go to label. Label is around Office 365, also the tenant. You'll be able to do that. You'd see, okay, you see for this particular group, you would see it as is reflecting in Namarata, that's the name of the group and all. You see, that's how it's going to be. So it will have that naming convention for all the groups you are creating. So quickly, let's go to labels. That's talking about security. Let's go to security.microsoft.com. Compliance. Microsoft.com. So in having this compliance, you would see once you are loaded on this page, there is a place where you see the information protection. So in information protection is where you set to create your labels. So in creating your labels, let's try and create a label very quickly. We give it a name, let's say private. Let's give it test. So give it a display name, Teams test, and description, no, next. Next. Let's go next. So you have to give it a description and all. So click next. So this for this session, we want to tailor our policy down to groups and sites. So we disable, uncheck files and emails and data assets. We click next. So we say encrypt. We are not really concerned about it, but we can click it and all. We click next. We choose the policy we want as privacy, as to control the level of privacy you want. So we have privacy and external user access settings. We want to control that. We can click yes. We want to control external sharing and all. We can click that and we click next. So we want this for a particular setting. Is it for public, private, or none? So this particular policy is for private. Let's say private. Let's click next. We'll choose a different control for SharePoint. That's control the sharing for SharePoint and all. And then we check use conditional access to protect it and all. We click next. We click next, and we create a label. So why that is being done, you would see for other policies, you can do that in your Teams admin. So if you go to the admin portal, you would see click show or you would see Teams. There are various policies you can put in place talking about the Teams policy, the chat, the one on the messaging policies and all. So one policy, like I said, you can archive a particular Teams. So we have various teams in our environment, and like I said, we have a project that is done and it's been long overdue, but we want to archive the updates that has been left there. We don't want to lose information put in that particular team. So if we click Teams, you click Manage Teams, you will see the list of teams. So you can click on that particular teams you want. So let's click on this. You will see the option to archive. So once I click that, you will see I can archive that particular team. So when that is done, you can also come back and archive that. So let's go back to our policy. So a label has been created. We can now, so once you create a label, you have to publish the label. So let's click publish label. We click we choose our sensitive label. So we created themes. We add it. We click next. So this particular label we are publishing, who are we telling this to? Is it for everyone or a set of people? So let's click on hash. So hash is the one that is having this. Click OK. Next. Click next. We'll say apply this label by default to the group. So we click this and we click next. Next. Let's give it a name. Click next. So you would see if once that has been done, you would see when this particular user, that's Ash, wants to create a team, you would see it would be requested to choose one of these labels. So from scratch, you would see it has this label. So once it drops down this label, you would see it has one. That's one we created, hasn't reflected second time. So we have the webinar and the web test. If you see the webinar is for the public, so if I click the public, you see the option for the public and the organization-wide option is made available to me. But if I click the test, web test, you will see I just have the private. So quickly, let's go to retention. So retention is why we want to retention done. As we go to teams governance, we have a particular teams we want to retain. So we can we just click new retention policy and all. So from there you would see once you click next, you would see you'll be able to create um, you'll be able to apply your retention policy. So you see we tailor it down to teams. So if you check teams, you can put the various teams and you can exempt the team you don't want to retain. So you click next and you can choose your retention period. Is it for 7 years, is it for 5 years or 10 years? You can also customize it and you can choose if you want to retain it forever or delete after a particular time or a particular period of time, and you click next. So once that is done, you would see you'd save and the policy will take effect. So that brings me down to the end of this session. I hope it was insightful. Thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Kofi.
Wow, thank you very much, Adiwale. Yeah, this is amazing session. I mean, I've really learned a lot. Obviously, we are down on time, but there's just one question that James asked. He says, "Is it possible to do the PowerShell activity in a GUI?" See, you actually run through the PowerShell, and you just want to know with that specific PowerShell command that you were running, is there a GUI version or GUI option that they can use?
No, you go through the PowerShell commandlet. So Microsoft had made that available to us. So you would see from this link, you would see it's been made available. The PowerShell is available to everyone. You just copy and do the various editing in terms of group names and maybe false or true, depending on what you want to achieve.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you very much for this session. I believe our audience are really happy, obviously, with the session you've run through. There's a lot of great comments in the comment section. Everyone is excited, obviously, to be here, and a lot of people are saying awesome. There was a bit of issue with the screen resolution, but I think as time went by, it actually improved. So Adewale, thank you very much for this wonderful session. So we're going to take like 7 minutes break, and then we'll start the next session at 5:40. All right, see you guys then.
Thank you very much, Kofi.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye. Oh, hello, guys. Welcome back to the session. So, we're going to bring you the next speaker. But before we do that, just remind you this MCT West Africa Cloud Bootcamp session is going to be run for 3 days. So, today is the first session. We have some tomorrow and also Sunday as well. And all of them are action packed. So, I hope you guys will stay tuned. We do have like 54 sessions, 54 speakers, 54 workshop, and everything is virtual. So, this is incredible Good Friday, incredible weekend for you guys to enjoy. So, without any further ado, I'll bring to you our next speaker. Is Chimi. Chimi will be the next speaker. Let me just Chimi up here. All right, Chimi. Nice to meet you, sir. It's been a
Hello,
wonderful
guys.
to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine, Chimi.
Good, good,
All
good.
right.
I just need to. Yeah, thank you for this. This is very good. Session. Just trying to get the technicalities here.
Yeah,
Share my screen.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just 1 second. Um, nah, it's not working. Do, 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 do. Um, sorry about this.
I know it.
Yeah, I think I finally got it there. Just let me know when you can be able to see the screen.
Absolutely.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see the screen now.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Yes, good happy Friday, good evening. And welcome to this MCT Cloud Bootcamp session. My name is Chimi, and yeah, just welcome. My introduction: I'm a senior Dynamics 365 Power Platform functional consultant. I'm Nigerian, but I'm based out in London. I've also worked within Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform landscape for about five years now. I've worked on multiple Dynamics, projects, and my session, my topic for today is introduction to Microsoft Power Platform Admin Center. As someone now who has worked as an administrator, I've worked as a developer, I worked as a consultant, is key for us in the business applications landscape. Is key for us to get to understand or get an overview of what the Microsoft Power Platform Admin Center is all about. Yeah, and that's what this session is. The Power Platform Admin Center, it just provides you a unified portal for your administrators to manage environments. So environments and settings for things like your Power Apps, your Power Automate, and all your customer engagement applications, such as your Dynamics 365 sales, customer service, you got your field service, you've got your marketing service, and your project automation for Dynamics 365 as well. So with that much further ado, I will so this is my contact details that is displayed on the screen right here. So feel free to contact me even after this session. You can contact me on Twitter, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or just send me an email, and I will reply to your questions about that. Okay. So the next slide is just an agenda of what I have in store. I know it's 30 minutes, so I'll try as much as possible to capture what is on here. The agenda is just to show you, obviously, the Power Platform Admin Center capabilities. How do we provision a new environment? Yeah, it talks about, how do we define an organizational type? What are the different organization settings that we have within the Power Platform Admin Center? We call it PPAC for short. Okay, Power Platform Admin Center. We also look at managing our environments. How do we get to manage our environments? How do we create backups, copies of what data that we have on these environments? And also, the most important thing is about monitoring our Power Platforms Admin Center. What are the storage capacities? As an administrator for an organization, it's quite key for you to understand. What are the storage capacities where you have for your instance or for a particular environment that your users are working on. So things like also data policies are also key for us to. We'll be seeing that as we move along the slides as well, and also help and support. If we run into any support issues, how do we use the PPAC and contact Microsoft, for example, for help and support. Okay. So the next one here is the admin center. So this is what the admin center looks like, right? You have your environments where you'll be able to view, you be able to curate, and you'll be able to manage all your environments on there. You also have your analytics, which is where you get all the detailed view of all the key metrics that you have for your Microsoft Power Platform applications. And the next in source, under resource, you also be looking at help and support. How do you get a list of all the support solutions, like, or how would you be able to create a support ticket for Microsoft for a technical support? Okay. The next one is when we look at things like data integration. Power Platform, we know, is we've got the the database, I would say, like the dataverse, where we have for our applications. So data is always integrated within other applications into our dataverse application solution as well. Also, things like data gateways. As you can see there, you have a data gateways which is on preview at the moment, but this is just basically acting as a connector, as a bridge that provides you that quick and secure data transfer between your on-premises, and also things like your data policies, like I've mentioned. We can create our DLPs. We call them data loss prevention policies. Basically, what DLP acts as a guide rail, helps you prevent users from unintentionally exposing organization data. We know how organization data is like very important for us. So we use the DLPs to actually act as a guide rail so nobody can expose data out of the system. Let me just quickly show you what I'm trying to say here. So this is just a trial environment that I've created for the benefit of this session. So we've got our environment, and it's just so easy. Admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. You can come on here and click on new and be able to choose, obviously, your organizational name. You can call it wherever you want to call it, but the only capacity, or the only caveat when you're creating environment, as we'll see also later on when we're talking to analytics, is that you need to have 1 GB storage in order to be able to create environments. Like previously, Microsoft didn't let us do that, but now we can. As long as we have that capacity, we can be able to create new environments within the same tenant as well. So it lets you, impute what type of environment, whether it's a sandbox, whether it's a production or a trial. And you can also decide to actually put the region of your environment. So basically, where you're working out from, you have the ability to come in here and put the region. Yeah, it just helps you to provide quicker data access as well. You can also see the purpose. Let me just give you an example here. Sandbox. We can also have that ability to create a database for our environment, and just click on next. So when it goes to next, like I said, you have the ability to enable Dynamics 365 applications in addition to your Power Apps for each and every environment that you have. You can also deploy what we call sample data within your application as well. Okay. Yeah, just to show you what the capabilities are in curating an environment and also adding database within your environment. Okay. The next slide I'll quickly show you is, we just mentioned about how do we provision that. So basically, where do we start from? What is even actually in an environment? Basically, just a space where we can be able to store, manage, and share our organization's business data. Yeah. So things like our chat box, our apps, our flows, it just serves as a container. Yeah, to separate all these apps. That usually apps have different like security roles, different security requirements, different target audiences. You can use environments to actually um, how you use your environments, it depends on your organization, but you can use your environments to kind of like trying to contain your apps. You might even curate separate environments that group, like say for example, your test production, your text data, and your production version of your apps as well. Yeah. You can also create separate environments. So if you want like your specific teams within your organization to, you want some teams to be able to access some kind of like, apps or database, you can also use environments to contain that. Okay. Um, for example, like one of the projects I'm doing, like we use environments where we use it to kind of like separate, because the organization is a global company, so they have like a different branches. So we just use environments to kind of like curate separate data for them. Okay. So these are one of the reasons, like, or some of the instances or scenarios where you can provision like, environments for different users. Okay. Just to moving along, just what is the steps, like I've shown you how you can go ahead and define those organizational types and define those organization settings within your environment. um, we've also seen, say for example, curating database that I mentioned. I didn't mention about security groups, but it's also part of it. You can specify a security group where you can use it to restrict your environment access. So people in a particular security group will be able to see data. So hence, not everyone will have access to that data. If a Dataverse environment does not have any, for example, any associated security group, what tends to happen is that all users within that has a Dataverse license, so people that are like that have apps license, people that have your Dynamics 365 sales, customer service, and things like that, they will, yeah, be curated as users and be enabled in that environment. Hence, they will have access to that environment as well. Okay. So most especially in projects is also a very a best practice, is a good practice to provision your users through security groups. So when you create an environment, you tend to put them in a particular security group, okay, so that you can restrict people that will be able to see what's um, in that environment. We can also manage users. So, if you manage our users license in Microsoft 365 Administration Center, um, we are, familiar about Dynamics 365, sorry, Microsoft 365 Admin Center. But if you're not familiar, what it is just basically the administration center for Microsoft, where you can come in here, you have your users, so you can assign license to users, for example, and then users will be able to have access to the app in the environment that you just created. So your first step, you create an environment in your active users or your Microsoft 365 Admin Center. You can come in here and be able to assign licenses for your users. Okay. The next slide I want to show you is how you obviously manage this environment as well. What are the different details that you can see? You can see some of the details of your environments, like, if you click on like see all. So it's best if I just show you all this and how it works as well. So I've got an environment here that I've created. For if I click on Shimmy or demo environment, you can be able to come in here and be able to see a bit more detail about that environment. Okay. So things like your setting, when did you, what if it is the environment assigned to a security group, and different other features that you might have here as well. The environment URL that you've provisioned as well, you can be able to capture that from here. And also, yeah, you can also make edits, or if you have configured an environment, you might be able to come in here and also change the name of your environment. Okay. Um, things like administration mode is also good for administrators to know, that you can also say, for example, on an environment URL, say if it's a Canvas app or a model-driven app, for example, you can also come in here and be able to put that environment into an administration mode. We tend to use this often when we're going through like a release process for an application. You want to be able to come in here and administer your environment into a disabled mode. Okay. So also on this area of the environment is also where you'll be able to select your environment, see the details, you'll be able to manage it, you'll be able to copy, you'll be able to delete, you'll be able to see some of your environment history as well, things that have happened or are transpired within that environment. You'll be able to also come in here and see, or like I said, this is a trial environment. If I want to convert it to a production environment, I can also come in here and click on convert to production. There are different features that will be seen in the next few slides. Um, but yeah, you can come into your settings over here as well and do different things like, say, for example, all your audit settings, all your audit summary, your system jobs. You can also come in here in your environment, in your PPAC um, in, environment, and be able to look into all this by just selecting settings. You'll be able to come in here as well. Um, okay, quickly. I just mentioned this settings, basically where you come in and view all the settings for your environment is key as an administrator moving forward to be able to come in here and also use the links to manage your organization wide settings, right? So things like your business closures, your currency that you use within your application, and different templates that you use, you can come in here and administer all that. Okay. When we look at monitoring under resources within our PPAC center, we can be able to select our capacity and say, for example, is always best to show. So when you come into this area under resources, we've got our resources here, and we also have capacity. Um, you want to be able to see what capacity you have, right? So within your environment, if you look at the summary tab, you'll be able to see the storage capacity, the area usage, what you have for your database, for your file, for your logs. They'll all be divided into two separate areas. You can come in here and yeah, just look at what you have. In case if you even need to create additional instances, you just need to come here, confirm that you just have 1 GB of database capacity. So you don't need any, we all know like you don't need any separate licenses anymore. So as long as you just have 1 GB capacity, you know you're sure to be able to come in here and create a new environment. As an administrator, if you exceed your storage capacity, you also be receiving email notifications that will be alerting you to your overcapacity usage, for example. There's also a notification banner that usually pops up on the Power Platform Admin Center when a tenant has exceeded their storage capacity. Yeah, so these are just things to know. 1 GB capacity available, and when you want to check for different things, like say for example for your dataverse, for it defaults you to your environment, you'd be able to click on here and be able to see in much detail what is the capacity, your database capacity used by table. If it's a file usage, you want to be able to see what that file usage capacity is as well. If it's by logs, for example, things like your plugin, your trace logs, and your audits based, you'll be able to also find out what capacity that you have remaining on there. Okay. And that's all about capacity, storage, just a slideshow just to show this is what I've just mentioned now. Just gives you that, summary, or will I say capacity based on an environment level view of where your organization is using all these different capacities. Okay. Time. Also, a big one is when it comes to PPAC, Power Platform Admin Center, is data integration. How do you create things like connection sets? What are connection sets when it comes to data integration? If you want to integrate another application into your Dataverse application, you use connections. Obviously, like use that to map all your information. Things like projects, for example, that I'm on, we're using data integration when it comes to Dynamics 365 F&O. So F&O integrating with Dynamics 365 for sales. We use obviously data integration that will map all the data, map all the key information, all the integration keys that will be reused among, all the projects that we're working on. Okay. You can also start using a connection set for even your development purposes. You can have a connect, you can create a connection set for development. You can create a connection set for production as well. But one key piece of information is that is stored within a connection set is just your organization unit mappings. Yeah. Just the mappings, you need to be able to know what fields map to what entity or what table, as it's called these days. And yeah, you'll be, be able to also store multiple organizational mappings as well. Okay. Um, just to curate one is we don't have enough time, but if you want to be able to curate data integration, be able to create your connections and your mappings as well, just on the left hand side of the PPAC environment, this is where you come and curate all those. Yeah, give your connection set a name. If you've created ones earlier before as well. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If you've created ones earlier before, if you want to create a new project based on your data integration, if you want to create a new connection set, you can come in here and then start mapping all those fields, your units mapping together. Yeah, but yeah, we don't have enough time to go through that. But yeah, this is where all those integration happens as well. Okay. I think I skipped a slide. No, I didn't. When it comes to data loss prevention policies, is something that we usually use the Power Platform Admin Center to do now. Your organization's data is likely one of the most important assets you're responsible for safeguarding as an administrator. So the ability to build your applications and automation to use that data obviously is a large part of the company's success. People that use our applications, people that use applications within our organizations, like people, we have good intentions. Everyone does, right? But we know like there's sometimes you can easily overlook that danger. There's always a danger of a data leakage to services and audiences that shouldn't have access to place. You can curate them, like I did mention before, just helps to prevent users from unintentionally exposing organizational data. Okay. One key thing to note as well is like your DLP policies can be scoped at an environment level or a tenant level. Yeah. One key thing, what what level do we need that to be? And also, another key thing that we need to know is they only affect Power Platform Canvas apps and your Power Automate. Yeah, your flows, your Power Automate flows, right? So this is one thing that is key to actually understand. But also creating a DLP policy will help enforce rules, especially if you have connectors, that can be used, different kind of connectors. I've trying to put some maps on here, but if I just quickly go in here and show you what I mean. Oh, so, okay, try and get there. Yep. So this is your data policies, trial environment. I haven't got any policy, but you simply just come in here and start giving your policy, obviously, a name to start with. And basically, you're trying to have policies based on business, I'm sorry, assign connectors on based on business, non-business, and you have the ability to also block, say, for example, some certain applications that you don't want people to have access to as well. If it's a business priority application, you can come in here to be able to kind of like move it to, say, for example, a connector, move it to a business connector, just to guarantee people not messing around with the data and things like that. This is just basically what the DLP policy process is all about. You assign you give the policy, obviously give it a name, you classify what connectors that you want within that policy. You also have the ability to do to define, I would say, define the scope of the policy, right? So your policy or the scope of the policy doesn't apply to environment level policies. It just applies to your overall general policy, right? And there you just start assigning them. If you can use the search bar to probably search for a connector, and if you want that to be blockable, if you want that to be a business, type of connector, you can also come in here and do your those classification yourself. Okay. Yes, is also sometimes we don't remember that we have this here. But it's something as someone or a developer or administrator that is working on a project, is also something to be wary of, knowing that yes, we can use our DLPs to restrict individuals or users access to this. Okay. Auditing is another one that we have here. So we have the auditing feature that will be able to kind of like log changes that are made to all our customer records. We can go that through your environment, select your environment, onto settings. You can see your audits and logs. So you'll be able to use, answer questions, which user access the system and when it access the system, even down to things like who updated a field within a record and when was that updated as well. You'll be able to use your audits to do all that as well. I mentioned about help and support. So you can use the help and support experience in the Power Platform Admin Center to get self-help solutions. Also in real time, you can get real-time support from Microsoft or a Microsoft representative. Okay. And we've also got things like the message center in Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365 Admin Center have things like your service health board, your service health dashboard, where you kind of see the health status of all the services that are available within your current subscriptions within your tenant. You can also use the message center. So things like if there's an outage or if there's something wrong, you be able to come in here and just see any messages that come from Microsoft. So, analytics, I'm just worried about the time. Analytics, when it comes to analytics, you no longer need to install or update a solution. You can just come into your PPAC and just look at your dataverse, look at the analytics, what active users that you have, what API calls or what executions that you have within your environment. Or yeah, you'll be able to come in here and see all those reports as well, right? Admins, if you're an environment admin, if you're a Power Platform admin, if you're a Dynamics 365 admin, if you're even a Microsoft 365 global admin, you have access to come in here and check all those stuff on here. Right? Okay, the next one is just the same analytics when it comes to Power Apps. Our Power Apps also have its own analytics as well. Who can see them? The same people, Power Platform admin, environment, or your Microsoft Global 365 admins as well. What kind of reports is available in your Power Apps? You can see from there, we have our usage reports. So that's a default within the analytics in Power Apps. Sorry, that's the default within the usage in Power Apps. It just shows you how many people have been using the system and things like that. Okay. The next one is, say, for example, location. You just wanted to get like a map, a view of the usage, insights into what is your regional adoption and what are your usage trends within a particular location. You'll be able to see that as well. Your toast errors, you get toast errors reports. So if you've got what are the trends, what are the types of errors you're getting, what are the counts per app to help drive improvements in your app as well. Service performance is another tab that we have within Power Apps. It just reports all the details of all your custom connectors, understanding all the your performance, all the bottlenecks, and all the issues that you're having with your APIs. You can come in here and look at all that in a report manner as well. We've mentioned the connectors, the same. You have a connectors report, obviously it gets you that visibility into all the different standard and custom connectors that you have. It will also show you like the last 28 days of data that is visible in an environment. So within the last month, it will show you everything that has been happening, and admins can get insight into the number of connectors associated with each application that is in your solution. So we have Power Apps, we have analytics for Power Automate as well. So things like your cloud flows, your DEX flows, you want to be able to see the usage, who created them, what errors, if it's been shared, how has it been shared? You want to be able to see all those as well. The next one, same, just showing you all the reports that we have within Power Automate, and also you also get like what we call like a summary, will I say? So a summary of all the different portals that we have within Power Platform, things like your Power Virtual Agents. You'll be able to drive, some more information from that portal itself, even from your Power Automates, your Microsoft 365 compliance. So things like your audit logs, your audit searches, you'll be able to find that from your Microsoft 365 compliance as well. Even like Power Apps, for example. So if you go to maker.powerplatform and make.powerplatform and make.powerplatform.com, you'll be able to also see some of those um, 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 trends, solutions, for example. You'll be able to see all your data, all your data, where are your data flows within that, I would say, portal for Power Apps. I'm quite conscious about the time, so if you have any questions, you'll be able to like fire that off to me. It's 30 minutes, but yes, I'm happy to take any questions online, offline. Like be free to send me a message, and I'll get back to you definitely with some more information. So
Wow, this is amazing, Jimmy. Thank you very much. On behalf of
thank
our
you
audience,
guys.
thank you very much.
Thank you very
We do
much.
have one question, by the way,
Yes.
from Roosevelt. He just wanted to know, is there a limit to the amount of environment you can create on the admin center, or is it limit based on the storage, which is per one gig
Yeah, just limited
limited
based on the storage. Yeah, one
on the
gig. But
storage?
you can also obviously get Microsoft to increase that capacity, so you can have as many environments as you want.
Okay, so on the Microsoft increasing, obviously you have to contact support. With the
Yes.
support, is it free service contacting Microsoft support for
Yeah.
the
So
platform?
yeah, based on your license, support
Okay,
license that you would have bought, you'll be guaranteed obviously the standard basic license to contact Microsoft. So yeah,
wow. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jimmy. This
thank
has
you,
been a
thank
great
you.
session. And I'm happy that you ran through this within a short period of time. You cramp everything into one.
Yeah,
It's amazing. All
yeah.
right. Thank you
We
very
need
much.
longer time, but yes, thank you,
Exactly. All right. But once again, thank you for having you. All right. So
thank you guys,
um,
thank you.
we will have a break. And then after the session, I think we will come back at 6:20. Yeah, so stay tuned for our next session. All right, guys. All right. See you then. Hello, guys. Welcome back. So, I hope you guys had the chance to get a break, get a coffee, tea, or even have your dinner. Obviously, time is running. So, obviously, 10 minutes, but yeah, I'm hoping that you guys are also enjoying this wonderful session. So, I just want to bring to you our next speaker for this session. So, our next speaker, um, he is a very a trainer I do know. He's been actually doing this for quite a long time, and he have the battle wounds to actually to prove it, because he actually taught about 100 professionals how to use Power BI for analysis and other stuff. So without any further ado, I'm just going to bring out to you our next speaker, Mohsin. Hello, Mohsin. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening. I'm good. How are you doing too?
Very well, very well. I'm very excited. I can't wait to hear what you have for us for today.
So I am, and it's my pleasure to be on this call this evening. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. All right, I'll leave the platform to you, to your humble hands, and then you can see what you're gonna do for us. All right.
All right. So thank you very much. And let me say good evening. That's yes. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. Probably if you're joining from somewhere else, I would say good afternoon, good morning, depending on our location. So it's good to be on the platform today on the MCT West African conference. It's really my pleasure to be here this evening to share with us a little, or let me say, some of the things that I feel that might be beneficial to a number of us. So I want to discuss this evening UI design in Power BI. UI design in Power BI, many people would want to ask, what does that imply? UI design in Power BI. Many times when we visit website, you go to some website, you are ecstatic, you love it, the appearance, the structure, the way the things are arranged is so appealing, so you love that. And you go to some other websites, things are totally different. You look at the arrangement on some other website, you feel that no, this is not user friendly, this is just so difficult to navigate. For that reason, the same thing is actually applicable when it comes to you building Power BI solutions. So when we talk about Power BI solution, there are typical ways that people build some reports, but I wouldn't want to have so much a lengthy conversation or an introduction into this. So I would so much love that we go get to see a number of things that I'm talking about so we can better put things into context. So let me share my screen. So I want to share my screen now. So just a minute. Okay. So, okay, let me share the second screen. I hope that is up now. Okay, I hope my screen is up. I really do hope. Okay, I guess so. All right. So yeah, so this a typical report that people build, so you could have a home page like this. On the home page, you have a number of buttons that will lead them to the other pages that you have in your report. So this report actually has let's say 4 pages on
Yeah.
this report.
Mohsin, just a quick one. You're sharing the wrong screen, I think.
Okay, let me say that. Thank you for that. Just 1 minute, please. Let me stop sharing and let me share my screen again. Share screen. Okay, I think I want to share this. Then let me bring my Power BI here. How about now? Can you see it now?
Yep, you can see it now. That's
Okay,
great.
great. All right. So thank you very much for that. Okay. So this is a typical report that some people build. Many times you just want to have an home page, and then you want to have some buttons that would navigate to the other pages on your screen. And then so if I click on that, it takes me to a page of the report. So and then at the bottom right, I have another button here. If I click on that, it takes me to another page of the report, and like that. So but yes, this could be fine. So you have different buttons for navigation. You can go back, you can go forth, depending on what you want to do and depending on how the user want to go on the report. So you can also filter the report. You click on 2014, the report updates, you filter by 2015, the report update, making some things look nice and a bit neat. So this is something that a number of people would want to do when it comes to they building reports or solutions in Power BI. So, but going a bit ahead of this, we want to step things a bit up. Okay, so we want to have a situation whereby we apply some, yes, of course, navigations will be there, and then we could have a sort of some bookmarks on our report, just make things a little more user-friendly. So when our users, when they look at the report, when they click on certain things, they know, okay, this is what this is doing, this is what this is doing. So we give them all those clear indications on our reports. So I'll show us a report shortly. So let's look at this. So this is similar to what we have seen earlier. So just that we have some sort of bookmarks on this. So if this is a button at the top edge, the left part of the screen. So if I click on this button, then this unveils my filter. So I can filter this report by whatsoever I want. Okay, the report updates, I can filter by the month. The report also updates. And when I'm done filtering the report, then I can click on this button to close the filter pane. So this is something that we may want to do as well. And then after looking at the summary, so this button is looking at the entire summary here. So you want to look at the market share. So if I click on the market, it looks like I'm still on the same page, but it has actually navigated to another page. And then everything just gives me an update. Okay, this is our revenue by region, this is our revenue by store. So how do we build something like this? So let's see what we can do in, say, 20 minutes when it comes to building something like this. So let me bring up a blank Power BI. So I'll bring up a blank one now on my screen. So on this Power BI page, I have brought in the data already. So you look at the data model. So let me connect the date on the data model. So I have this connected now. So this is a star schema. All my tables, I have my dimension tables, and I have my facts table. Then I want to begin to build my report. So placing it on the premise that we have, we have cleaned our data, we have loaded, we have built the model and everything. So we want to start to build our report. So I'll come to my report view. So and then how do I start this? I'll come to set my page first. So I want to set my page so that it gives me that flexibility. I'm able to adjust things the way I want. So I'll come to my page view. Yes, of course, I'll still use the fit to page. Then on the page size, so I may want to change this size. Maybe let me do a custom here. And then for the height of the page, I may want to do it's 20 for the height. So I can say the entire thing here. Then I'll come to my page alignment. So I want it to stay in the middle of my entire page. So this is what I want to say. So I will be able to walk from this edge to this edge. That is where I want my report to stand on. Then I want to begin to build my report. Bear in mind, we want to try to replicate the report that we saw earlier just in a short while. So now I'll come here, I'll insert a shape here. So I'm gonna insert a rectangle. So I have this rectangle, so I'll just resize this. Let me resize this. I have this, so this will stand as the header. So then I'll change the fill. So let me just adjust the fill of this. Let me use this. Probably this is cool. So then after this, then I want to remove the outline. So then I'll duplicate this. I'll just do a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I have this. Let me make this a bit bigger. And then on the fill, let me use a slightly different fill for this. Maybe something like this that just shows that things are a little bit different. So I'll have this. Then let me insert a triangle. We'll get to know why we need a triangle later. So let me just resize this as well. Let's just follow with this. I open the recording. Since it's on YouTube, we should be able to access the recording hopefully. So I'll place my triangle here. So let me just resize this a bit more. Let me change the fill. So I'll give it a white fill. Let me remove the outline. So I have this. Then I'll duplicate this shape. The last time, I'll bring it here. Let me just resize things. So I'll resize this a bit, and then I'll drag this a bit down. So this is where my entire visualization will stay. So then maybe this one, I can make this a bit smaller. So I have this, I can drag this a bit up like this. Then for this one, so let me add a shadow. I'll add a shadow to this. And I want the shadow to be not bottom right, I want a bottom shadow. Then I want to, let me change the field. Let me change the field to a white. I want to use a white field for this. So this one also, let me change, let me add a shadow to this as well. So I add a shadow to this. Okay, right. So now we have this. Where next do we go? So let's look at the report again. So this is what we're trying to do. So I've added this the first layout, which will be used for the headers and a couple of buttons. Then I have a second layout, which is for the buttons, and just under it I have my visualization. I'll call it my visualization pane. That is where I want my entire visualizations to stay on. So having done this, so now let's go and put some buttons. So I'll come here, then I'll insert a number of buttons. So let me come to my buttons under the insert tab. I'll insert a blank button. I'll bring this here. So this button, I can have it, let me just make things a bit big. So this one, I drag it here, I make this a bit big like this. Then let me just duplicate this. I can duplicate this depending on the number of pages of report you want to have. So if you're having, say, 4 pages of report, you might want to put 4 buttons here. So the buttons will serve as your page navigator. So once you click on those, then it switches to the other pages of your report. So for this button now, so I want to put some, let me fill it with an image. So I'll come to the format button pane. I'll come to the fill. I want to activate this. Then I want to fill it with an image. So let me fill this with this image here. Then I'll reduce the transparency to 0. I want it to do a fit. Then let me make it descriptive so that anyone looking at this, they will know what the page is talking about. So I'll come to text, I'll activate it, and then I can do a summary. Maybe this will be the summary page, but it's still not obvious yet. So I may need to change the font color. Okay, but the font is staying on the image itself. So let me do the alignment. Let me make it vertical to the right, and then I can increase the size. Okay, so I have this for this button. So let me do for the second button as well. So I want to add a fill. I want to do an image fill. So let me say this is for market. Let me just use this image for the market. Maybe this would indicate what the markets look like, probably. Okay, so now I have this on the page. Then let me add a text as well. I'll add a text. I will say a market. This is market, so let me market. Then let me change the font color to white. So, and I will do vertical alignment as well. So it just comes below. Then let me do for the third button. So I'll do a fill. I'm removing transparency from this. I'll add an image. Maybe here we want to see our products. So I'll put the products here. So I'll do a fit. Then I can come here to add some text. So to describe what this is talking about. So maybe I call this line of business because of the kind of report you're trying to build. So I'll add text font color. I'll bring it down. Okay, so now we're done with the buttons. So we need to, let's build some visualizations based on what we have for our summary. So I'll quickly add some cards. I'll have some card visuals here. So my card visual, I'll click on this. I'll bring this here. So let me just reduce the size of this. And let's say on this, what I want to say is I want to say the revenue. I want to see what's our total revenue. That's what I want to see on the card. So you can see the revenue is 73 billion. Okay, let me just format this card quickly. So I'll come here to, let me come to the background. Yes, I'll change the background. Let me change this to this. Then I'll need to change the data label. I'll change the color to a white. Then I'll need to change the category label as well so that that is seen. Okay, so maybe I need to just increase the size of the font size for the category label. Maybe 14 is fine. I think that's good. Then I will add a border to this. So the border, let me give it a radius. Maybe 18 is okay for this. And then let me add a shadow. All right, so assuming I'm done formatting this. So then let me just duplicate this. So I want to have a second and a third card, depending on what I want to see on this report. So let me just select all of this. I'll do a format. I want to align top. Okay, so they are aligned. Then I can distribute horizontally as well. So, but for this second one, so let's say instead of the revenue, we have seen the revenue already. So I may want to say the units sold on this. Unit sold is there. Then maybe this one, maybe we'll look at the market, how many stores we have. Okay, so let me have this. Okay, but this is showing text because that's a text field. So, but I want you to count the number of stores. So I'll click on this drop down here where I have the field. I'll do a count distinct. So this is telling us that we have 132 stores. So having done this now, so maybe I want to see a trend of our revenue as well. I'll say we want to see a sort of a trend of, want to see how we're doing. Okay, I did not click out. Okay, so I need to click out first before you select another visual. So let's see which of the markets are we getting the most revenue from, or which of the regions, depending. So I'll select, go to my fact sales. I'll select my revenue here. Okay, so this is my revenue. Then I'll go to, let me do my market. So this is my market by revenue. So let me just quickly format this as well. So on the y-axis, I want to turn off the title. I don't need the title on the y-axis. So I'll scroll down to where is the title. Here's the title on the y-axis. Okay, yeah, this is the title. So I'll click that. I will switch that off. Then I want to also remove the title on my x-axis. So let me remove title on my x-axis. So I'll switch that off as well. So we already know that. Then I'll switch off my x-axis completely. So I want to use a data label instead. So I'll put a data label. Then let me just add some formatting to this. Let me add a shadow. I don't know why I like shadows so much. So, and then I can do a radius of say 18 as well. So then I can do my report background. So let me change it from a white to this color here. And then this is not looking nice. So I'll need to change my data labels. So let me do a white for the data labels. Then I'll need to do my X and Y axis as well. Y axis, let me do a white. And then my X axis, okay, my X axis is off. So then I would need to do my data colors. My data colors, let me do, maybe a white will be fine. Okay, I think this is a bit fine. So then I will need to do the title. It's not showing, so I need to change the font color as well. Maybe I do a white for this. All right. So let's say that we are done with some formatting this. So then I will need to, let me now filter this report. So I want to say top 5 markets. So I'll come to the filters pane. I'll click on the drop down here. You see different filtering types. So you can do trying to work with the time. So you can do a basic filtering, advanced, or top end. So I'll click on the top end. So then I want to see the top 5 markets. So, and then by what value? So we want to see it by revenue. So I'll drag the revenue and drop it in the by value field. So I will apply filter. So you can see now we have the revenue by market, and this is showing us the top 5 market. We can actually work on the title to show top 5 markets. So I can say we can have top 5 markets by revenue. So delete this. Okay, so this is a bit more descriptive here. Then I will have, let's add a second visual, maybe also a bar chart. So I'll just make this a bit this way. Then I'll add my revenue as well. I want to look at my revenue on this, and I also want to look at the market. So for this time around, let's look at the bottom 5 markets. So I'll come back to the filters pane. So on the filters pane, you do a top end, but you switch this now to the bottom, and you do a bottom 5. And then we can add our revenue on the by value field and apply filters. So this is filtered to the bottom 5, but it makes sense that the list comes first. So let's sort this. We can sort this in ascending order. So we are looking at the bottom 5 here. So let me change the title. I'll go to the title. Where's the title here on this visual? Yeah, so you go to the title, then you say bottom five markets by revenue. You do bottom five market by revenue, and then let's copy format from this visual. So since we have formatted this and probably we're cool with this for now, so I'll copy format from this. Just click on the visual, and then I'll come under my home tab. I'll click on the format painter. I'll bring it here and I'll paint this. So this is formatted just like this one as well. So let me just make this a bit bigger. So now let's assume that this is all we want to see on our summary page. So then we need to work on our headers as well. So we need a button, and probably we want to bring in the company's logo. We want to add a title. So let's quickly do that. So let me begin by bringing in a button. Let me do a blank button. I'll do a blank button here. So let me place the button on this side, and then let me just resize this a bit. So I'll come to the field, the button field as well. So I want to use an image to fill this. So let me just put this here, and then let me do a fit for this. Yes, okay, so perhaps this is fine. So let's ignore this for now. Then let's add a text box. So I'll come to insert again. You insert a text box. So what I do here is I try to apply all formattings first. So I apply all formattings, then I want to make it bold, I want to make it centralized, then before I type whatever I want to type. So I can say maybe this sales report. Okay, so if I'm fine with this, then maybe I want to switch off the background for this. Then I'll need to change the font color to a white. So just highlight the text, I'll come to the font color, I'll change it to a white here. Then I may want to now drag this up. So let me see how I can drag this a bit up. Okay, so let me just place it here for now. So I have this. So let me just make this a bit bigger. So we can always go on to format this to suit whatever we want. So then I want to bring in the image. So maybe I want to add a logo to this. Let me browse where that is. I think that should be on pictures. I'll bring in this logo. So this is the company's logo. Let me place it on this. Let me just resize it first. I'll place it and put it somewhere here. Okay, so now we are done with this apparently, but we want to add some filters to this so that any user that comes in, they will be able to filter this report. Maybe they want to filter by line of business, they want to filter by model, depending on what they want to see on the summary page. So now I'll add a shape again, another layer. I'll add that, I'll place that here. Then I'll make this cover this entire place. Then I'll fill this. So let me change the feel of this. Let me do something. Maybe this one is cool. Then having done this, then I will need to now add some text. Let me add the text first. So it is a lot descriptive what this is doing. So I'll make this white. I will make this, let's say maybe 18 should be fine. The font, let me use UI light. Then let me switch off the background. So then I want so let's say select filters. Okay, this is still on black font. So let me just change the font to a white. Okay, so maybe this is not too small. It actually depends. So you have this. You can actually make this bold. So let me make this bold. Okay, I make this bold, and probably let me just increase the size a bit. 18 might be too much, so let me do it 14. Okay, so I think this is fine. So I'll resize this. Then let me add some slicers. I'll click on my slicers, I'll bring it here. So this slicer, I want to see my line of business. So I'll go to my line of business table. I'll select the line of business. I have this here. So let me quickly see how I can format this. Maybe I change the orientation of this. So let me make this more like a button. So I'll come to the general. I'll change the orientation to horizontal. Then the color, okay, yeah. So let me remove the slicer header. And then on the items, let me change the color to, maybe I change the color to something like this. Okay, so I have this. And then maybe I want to switch off the background. Maybe I want to switch off the background depending on what you want to do. Then let me copy this slicer. I'll copy this slicer. I'll place it here. Then I can drag this a bit to the side. Then for this slicer, I want to say, let me say probably the month. Maybe we want to slice our report by month. So I'll come to my calendar table. Then I'll select the month. Okay. So assuming this is what we need for our slicers, then to reset the slicer or to close this slicer pane, I will need a button. So let me insert another button here. So let me pick this reset button. Let me bring that to this side. Let me make it a bit smaller to the edge. Then let me make the color a white. Okay, a white color for this. All right, so I have all of this now. Okay, so now what I want to do is the button to the top left, I want to use it to control my filters pane. So when anybody click on this menu hamburger, then the filters pane should display. Select the filters you want, and when you're done, you can come and click on this reset button, and the filter pane closes. That is what I want to do. So now I'll come to this where I have the filters pane. So I want to group this item. So I'll select my slicer. I'll select the text box. I'll select this other slicer. You order your control to select all of those. Then I'll select this one as well. Then I'll do on the format, I'll go to group and I'll group this. So after grouping this, so that I know what exactly I've grouped, so I can come to my view tab and I go to my selection pane. So on the selection pane, so let me rename this group. Let me call it filters. Let me call this filters on the selection pane. So I know this is the filters. And this is my button here. This button here. So let me just format that to bring it to the front. So let me bring to front. Okay. So let me call this. Let me just rename it. I'll call this reset. All right, so now we have done this now. You have grouped the entire thing on the filters pane aside from the reset button. So now we need to do a sort of a bookmark so that when we make this button active and we add action to it, then whoever clicks on this would see this entire filters pane. And when they want to reset, they click on this one, this reset button here, and the filters pane would go off. So how do we go about that? Then I will need to activate my bookmarks pane. So I'll go to the views tab. I'll activate the bookmarks. So on the bookmark now, so I would add a bookmark. I would add a bookmark here. You see add. Then let me just rename this. But before I add a bookmark, you need to do something. You need to select what you want to add to this bookmark. So let me delete this first. I'll delete this. Then I'll select my reset button and hold down control and reset and select my filters pane. Okay, so you see that the entire thing on the filters pane is selected, the group filters and also the reset button. So I've selected these two. I'll add a bookmark. Then I'll call this maybe show filters. I'll call it show filters. Then I'll unselect these two guys. Okay, I'll hide them, because that's the other thing I want the bookmark to do. I'll hide these two guys. Then I'll click on add another bookmark. I'll double click to rename. So and I'll do hide filters. Let me just rename it, call it hide filters. So having done this now, so let me just bring these guys back. I'll unhide them so they are visible. All right, so let's add actions to our buttons now. So I think I can close my bookmarks pane. So I'll come to this button at the top left. I'll click on it. Then I'll come to the button action. I'll give it an action. Then what action do I want to give to it? I'll give it a bookmark. And what bookmark? I want it to show filters. Okay, so I'm done with this button. So I'll come to this other button here, our reset button, remember. So I'll give it an action as well. And after giving it an action, then I'll come to the action type. I'll select a bookmark. Then I'll select hide filters. So having done all of this, then let's see if that works out. So I'll come here to my button, order my control, click on it. It's supposed to show the filters. Let's use this one to hide the filters. You can see the filters is hidden. If I come to the top left, I'll click on it again. The filter should appear. Okay, the filter is not appearing here yet. Okay, there is something wrong. Okay, so these filters, I need to unhide these. Okay, so let me use the button again. This hides the filters. Okay, this is not bringing the filters. So let's go back to our bookmark. So I'll come back to my bookmark. So if I click on OK, so for show filters, you can see the filters group is hidden. That is why. So I may need to delete this. So let me delete this. Let me just quickly add it back. Okay, so I would unhide this. So it has to be visible. I'll select the reset button. I'll select the filters. I hope we're not running out of time. So I'll click on add bookmark to this tool. I'll say show filters. Then I'll deselect them. Okay, just deselect these two guys. Nothing is selected. I will hide the reset button. I will hide the filters group. Then I will add another a bookmark. Then I will say hide filters. Okay, so show filters supposed to bring everything up. Then hide filters supposed to hide everything. All right, so let's go back to our button actions. So let me go back to these actions. Then we're doing a bookmark, want to show. Then I'll go to where's my reset button. Then let me just unhide these two guys for now. I'll select my reset button. I would add a bookmark as well, hide filters. Okay, so let's hide filters. I'll click on this. I'll order my control, click on this, it hides filters, click on this, it brings out my filters. So whoever clicks on, then after bringing out the filters, then you can click on copy sales to filter your report. You want to say report for January. You are done looking at you are done filtering your report. You can click on this reset button. It hides the filters. And then we may need to add some actions to some of these buttons, but I'm looking at the time. I don't know, do we still have the time? Hello, Chris, are you there?
Yeah, it looks like we've run out of time. Yeah, right.
I was trying
2 minutes
to
past.
catch up with the time really. So,
Yeah.
but I hope everyone gets a bit of the concept, and probably they will be able to apply some of these. So it's just left for us to add page navigation to the button, and then we duplicate this page. So then after duplicating the page, we have a separate set of visuals for this second page, and we can navigate with this button. We had action to this button, navigate it down to the second page. So that's pretty much about it. So, and basically it's so that we have some more flexibility. So any user that we send this to, staying on the same page, they click on this button, they see the summary page, and then they look at, okay, they want to see market, they click on it, still on the same page, it navigates them to the other page, and it's just look to them as if they are on the same Power BI report page, not a situation of having to click some buttons below, and then it's obvious that you're doing a sort of a paid navigation. So, but with this, it seems to be a single page of report, and everything just updates as you go from one button to the other. So that's pretty much it.
Wow, amazing. Another wonderful session. It's so incredible that you can do this. Live designing. Just remarkable. I just got one question from Adisaya. He didn't join in early, but he wanted to ask, with the dashboard you're creating, where is it pulling the data from?
Okay, so I have my data set, which I uploaded. The data is actually sitting on Excel. So, and I have just a number of dimensions, denormalizing the table. Then I have my facts table, and also we have a calendar table. So that we can do some sort of reporting on the data.
Wow, that's amazing. So that means that you can actually replace the data set, and then it will update the dashboard live.
Yeah, we can. But when we replace the data set, what we will need to do is to come to our report, because once you update the data set, you see that you have errors on all of these, because they are still referencing fields on your former data set. So then you need to now add the new fields on the new data set, and you retain the formatting.
That's amazing. What we'll do is, right, we'll share your contact with the audience. So just in case they have any follow-up questions, they can definitely reach out to you. So Musin, thank you. Thank you again for such a wonderful session. So what we're going to do is just going to take another break. And then once we come back, we'll have our last session. So guys, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Actually, we'll see you in 6 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, then.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hello guys, welcome back. Hope you guys had a wonderful break. I know this was a short break, but I think you can still go out and stretch your leg or something. So we're going to do our last and final session. So the last session, the speaker is Gloria. Gloria is a data analysis. I mean, she's passionate about helping business thrive and succeed. She's a professional Scrum Master, Microsoft MCT, data analysis associate, and I mean, she just loves to impact people based on the skills that she have. So Gloria, it's wonderful to have you on this program. I'm just going to bring Gloria on the screen. Hello, Gloria. How are you doing?
Fine, Kofi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. It's wonderful to
That's
have
great.
you on the program, and
Oh,
yeah,
thank you
definitely
so,
looking
so
forward to what you're going to deliver to us today.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, that's great. So I'll leave the platform to you, and then you do your work.
Okay. Great. Welcome, everyone, from wherever you're joining us. Speaking from Lagos, Nigeria. So good evening, wherever you are. Good morning, whatever time it is. You're welcome to this section. We'll be talking about get data into Power BI. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. I don't think your screen is not showing up in the studio yet.
Okay, let me share again.
Okay. Okay, I can see it now.
Okay.
So it's now on the screen now. Yeah, it's on the screen now. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll be talking about get data into Power BI. Our outline will be for us to get data from various sources, optimize those data, and resolve errors that are associated with data. Data simply is the facts and statistics that you have gathered for us to be able to create analysis. So it is through this data collection that businesses have information that they work with. And without data collection, it is going to be very difficult for businesses to make informed decisions. So in this section, we'll find data, clean the data, and connect to various data sources that we have. We'll quickly define some terms that we'll be using often. What we talked about, get data into Power BI. So what exactly is Power BI? It's actually a Microsoft certified intelligence tool for processing and analyzing data. We'll also be talking about Power Query, which is a tool or a transformation engine where we extract data. It's basically where we do a lot of cleaning. I personally call it the kitchen of Power BI. Then we have a data source. What exactly is a data source? It's where your data is coming from, where your data set is coming from. And we'll do a little bit of visualization today with the data sets that we have. The first thing you do is you would get a Power BI desktop. We have Power BI desktop and we have Power BI service. For us to be able to connect with our data, you need to get a Power BI desktop. It's actually free for you to get. And it's advisable you get it from the Microsoft store. So once you connect, once you downloaded a Power BI desktop and it's sitting on your local computer, then you'll be able to connect with various data sources. Why do we really need Power BI desktop, or what exactly does Power BI desktop do for us? It connects us to the data. It gives us the ability to transform and clean the data so that we are able to create a model. We can also create visuals such as charts, graphs, and do a little bit of representation. from our Power BI desktop, we can create reports that we can share with our colleagues on Power BI service. Once you have connected to, downloaded the Power BI desktop, you'll be seeing this interface. So I'll quickly go to my Power BI desktop. I have mine sitting on my local computer. I hope we could see this. So once you have downloaded, you'll be seeing this interface. This interface will come up. So you can easily get data from here, where I have my cursor, get data, or we can get our data also from here. Basically, Power BI had categorized data into 6 categories. We have files, database, Power Platform, Azure Online Service, and others. Let's quickly look at what we have on files. On file, we have the Excel, we have text CSV, we have the XML, we have the JSON folders, we have PDF, SharePoint, and others. On database, we have SQL Server, your Access, your database, your SQL analysis, your IBM, your Postgres, and so on. On Power Platform, we have Power Data Sets. You can connect to other Power BI reports, your Common Data Service, and your Power Platform. We also have the Azure database, your Cosmos DB, your storage, your online services are also there, and we also have the web. Now on our Power BI desktop, what I just spoke about on file, this is what we have there. Power BI had categorized them for us. So all you just need to do is whatever form that your data set had been saved, Power BI can work with it seamlessly. I'm going to be getting an Excel file, and I also get a text CSV file for us to see. Once you know how you have saved that data set, you just connect. So if it's a text CSV, just click the text CSV and click connect to the data set. You just pick that particular data set that you want and you click OK. So there's going to be a navigation gator pane. So this is the Power BI. This is the data set that I've clicked on. It's a CSV file, and it will open and gives you a preview this way. The ideal thing to do, or the ideal practice in Power BI is, for you to actually transform that data. Don't just load the data immediately into your Power BI desktop. Take a second look at what are the data. So that's what it simply means. You just click transform that data. Once you click the transform data, it simply carries your data into Power Query Editor to give you a second look. So you take a good look at your data set. So this is the data set that I've actually that I just brought in now. You can also open another Power BI to get another list, or you can also on the same Power BI, on the same reports that you are working with, you can get in other source of data. So let's quickly let me get, we've gotten a text CSV. Maybe we'll get a PDF. Let me get a PDF, connect to a PDF. Once you do that, it takes you to where you have your PDF file. Just click the one you want and click open. So this is the navigator pane that I was talking about. So it just gives you a preview of what data sets you are looking at. So I'm just going to take just one. It's going to open. If you have more tables there, it gives you opportunity to look at the table. Now, your data set does not come in clean. Most times they come in dirty. So there's need for us to do a little bit of cleaning on our data sets. Now look at this PDF data set that I've brought in. I'm having column 1, 2, and 3. And on column 3, I'm having just 2 vital things there. I'm having Evans and Ramos, and all other cells on this row is empty. Now, when you take a very good look at your data sets, it looks as if this is just name. Probably at the point where they are imputing the data, they've made this omission. So this is the separation. So you can merge the data sets together. You can merge the cells on those rows together. I want to put Jesse Evans together. I don't want them separated. So I just click replace values and then put Jesse Evans. You can see it are taking this Evans here and it's over there. I'm going to do the same thing for Victor Ramos. If I've done that, I'm just going to come back. I don't need this data set. The essence of doing this transformation, the essence of being at the Power Query is to just bring in only the data sets that you want, only the cells or the columns that you want. So I don't need this column. I've transferred these two items on this row to this. So I'm just going to say take off this column and it goes off. Now you are going to look at your nomenclatures of the tables. Look, I have column 1 and column 2, and underneath it, I'm having customer ID and I'm having customer name. So it simply tells me this is not what I really want. So I don't want to bring in a table that I just have column 1. I want my table well descriptive. So I'm going to just go here and to the transform. You are going to be saying use first rows as headers. So this simply tells me that this customer, where I have customer ID, that's supposed to be the title. So I'm just going to say Power BI. Once you click this, Power BI is an intelligent tool. So it quickly brings those rows to be the title. So we have gotten a text CSV and we have gotten a PDF file. Let's quickly go get some other sources or data sources here. Let's get a database. On the database, let me get an SQL. So I'm going to say connect. Once you click on it, it's going to ask for credentials. It simply means give me the name of the server where you want me to go get fetch the information you are requesting for. It also gives you the opportunity to import or to do a direct query. What it simply means, do you want to bring in the whole data set to sit on your local computer, or you want to just make a direct query? Direct query is simply, I'm going to give you access to the data, but I'm not going to bring the data, the whole data set to sit there. So once you connect through direct query, you'll be able to make a connection with that data set. But what it simply means, as the data set is being refreshed, it will request for a refresh, and what you have will also be updated. Once you input the right credentials, it's going to bring that data set. So it's actually telling me that on this server, this is what I have. What exactly do you intend to bring in? That's the question here. So pick only what you need and bring it to your Power BI desktop. So we have made a connection with an SQL server. So the data set is here. We're also going to make another connection with the web. So you can get your data set from the web. Power BI is an intelligent tool. So it can connect with various data sources. So I'm going to connect to the web. All you need is the URL. Once you supply the URL, the right URL, Power BI will make that connection and you have your data set sitting on your local computer and you can work with that. It is very important that you copy and copy exactly what you see on the URL on the website. So it's going to give you a preview, and you pick the right table that you want to work with. So this is what we have. We have brought in tables. So we have made connection with various data sources. Now, when you make all these connections and you have your data source, we have it is important you do the cleaning. So we are in Power BI Kitchen, which is called the Power Query Editor. We're quickly going to look at your data sets for you to be able to make sense and allow your stakeholders to make informed decision about your data. Then you really need to look at that data set and answer a few questions. So I have a mega sales data set here with me, but there are a few things lacking here. I have the unit cost, I have the price, but I don't have the total cost. So I'm going to do calculate for the total cost. So I'm going to add a column, a custom column to the data set, and I'll call that total cost. My total cost will simply be my unit cost multiply by my quantity. And once you click OK, Power BI is very intelligent. He has done that calculation. This data set is 1,500 rows. Just in a split of a second, Power BI has done that for us. So I'm going to get what exactly is my total sales. I want to calculate my total sales, so I'm going to be using my price multiplied by my quantity, and then click OK. So Power BI has done that. I have my total cost and my total sale. So I want to be able to answer the question of the stakeholders to just present a little picture. I want to know what profits this business is actually bringing. So my profit is simply my total sales. Then I'll subtract my total cost from it. So I have these three. I have these three tables, columns here. I want to bring them to where I have numbers. I like doing them that way. You're going to be checking what exactly is your data type. These are your data types. Your data types. It takes you away from your Kofi, can you still hear me? I don't know if I have a network.
Yep, I can still hear you. You drop off a bit, but I think he's back. You're back now.
Hi, Kofi.
Yeah, can you hear me? Gloria, can you hear me? Yeah, Gloria, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, so you can go ahead.
Can you see my screen, please?
Yeah, I can see your
Just up.
screen. So I can see that the service loading up now.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I've tried, I've done them close and apply. So it's actually bringing in my data set. I would just want to work with the mega sales. One other thing I have on that data set, I have a location, geographical location. So Power BI is an intelligent tool. All it needs is for me to just categorize that data. So on my state, you can see the data type is showing as text. I want Power BI to recognize that it's actually a geographical location. So once you do that, you see it just gets the this icon in front of it. And I'm going to do the same for the zone. This is to enable us tell a little story with our data set. Once we have done this, we can begin the storytelling, because the essence of all we're doing is to translate what we have on the spreadsheet to a story that stakeholders will be able to understand in less than no time. So let me just quickly do a little storytelling with this data set of 1,500 rows. So I'm just bringing a card, and I'm going to, what exactly is my profit? So Power BI is an intelligent tool. So I have a profit of 32.45 million. So I'm going to copy, I'll try and work on this. Most times what you need to tell a story may just be a card visual. So this is my profit, and I'm going to change this from profit. What exactly is the sale? The stakeholders may want to know what sales were we able to achieve this year. So we had a sale of 56.2 million. What exactly is the total cost of this business? What did it cost the organization? So you just put the total cost. We have 23.8 million, and what quantity was sold within this period under review. So what quantity? And we're seeing 251,000. That's the quantity. You may also want to we may also want to use a slicer to just tell a little bit of the story to our stakeholders. What the slicer does is it actually helps you to filter just exactly what you want. On I'm going to have input here the channel. We have 4 channels of distribution here. We have catalog, online, reseller, and the store. So we want to really know exactly what is bringing in what. So I'm going to change this from list to drop down. Okay, so I will change this from the channel. No longer to the channel. I'm going to take what state is actually bringing in sales for me. So this beauty is that you are able to tell a story from what the data sets that you have. It's no longer numbers. It's actually telling a story. I'll quickly let's quickly get what profits from which channel are we making. So from these details, this tells us the story that actually store is bringing in the highest profits. Let's do it like a stock and have what was our total sales, which products is actually are we selling the more. So this is the essence of the data. It has moved from the spreadsheets. It's actually now telling a story. So we could also have, let's quickly fetch in like maybe a ribbon chart. Let's get our profits. The total sales. Profit, the total sales. Let's quickly look for which channel. So we can quickly let me do my background. We're just trying to tell a story with our data sets. So we have plugged our data, gotten our data sets from the different sources that we have. Assuming you have a logo for the company. So this no, so from this you can see that if I on catalog is actually bringing 2.1 million. The total sales that we got from catalog is 5.06 million, and we have 2.96 as our profit from catalog. So you could filter from all of this, from which states you can actually, so what exactly is the Boeing states bringing into the business. And you can see what Southeast is bringing. So we're going to, I'm going to uncheck this. Okay, so if you check it exactly, okay, what is Enugu State bringing? We have 235. That's the total cost. The profit is 252 million. So you are able to tell few stories from your data set. Lastly, we'll just look at. No, sorry. I haven't checked that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and we may want to look at from which states are we getting the profits. So this is just the art of telling a story. So the data set, we have plugged in a data set and we have taken them away just from just a spreadsheet to a beautiful story here. So we could do this also. Total cost, where's the products, which product categories fetching. There's, yeah. So, but this is it. If we have any question, I'll take the question. So,
Wow, wonderful, Gloria. Yeah, this is amazing. Using data set to tell a story, a visual representation of what is going on. This is incredible, remarkable. There was just one question. Samumia was asking, I mean, with the data set, is there a way they can have access to it so they can actually use that for practice? Because what you did was quite amazing. So they want to know if it's possible to have that data set.
did you say, is it possible to get the data set? I can drop it.
Yeah.
If that's the question, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I think it's not just one person. Many people actually ask if they can have the data for practice. So yeah, that's the only question that I can see at the moment. So yeah, thank you for the wonderful session. You're right on the time. It's exactly past, and that's exactly the time that we expected. So amazing. All right, thank you very much. So this is the end for this session. We have more tomorrow, so I hope that you guys will join in again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll start at 10:40 for the Office 365, M365, and also Power Platform track. It will start at 10:40, as you can see on your screen now. It will run all the way to 3 p.m. So there's a lot in store for you. If you think you've seen a lot today, you haven't seen nothing yet. We definitely had a wonderful session today. Wonderful speakers, all of them delivered as we actually anticipated. And tomorrow as well will be no different. It will definitely be wonderful session. So I urge you all to join. I mean, this is the agenda for tomorrow. You can pick and select the ones you really want to join, but I will strongly urge that you join each and every session because this is the opportunity to learn more, and you never have, I mean, this for free. And having this for free, you should definitely take advantage of it. So once again, thank you everyone for such a wonderful session, the speakers, and for audience, thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you guys again tomorrow. So have a wonderful evening. Right. Bye-bye for now.